Hey
Buddy,
everybody,
and
and
that's the
that's
wrong
the wrong
one.
one.
Boom, we're
Boom, we're
live.
live.
Hey
Hey
everybody,
everybody,
welcome
welcome
in.
in.
Hold on,
Hold on,
something's
something's
not right.
not right. Okay, I didn't unmute you. I somehow I have two mic sources and I can't figure out where the second one is to delete it. So yeah. Hi, can everybody hear me and Matt? Uh, Jake, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Holy crap. Thank you. I guess I'm going to have to send you a check, Matt. Um, oh, guys. Okay. All of you in the chat know each other. So if you're not following each other already, what's wrong with you? But this guy that just walked in, You Go Me, is also known as DJ Love, and he is from Dallas. And I met him in 97 or 98. And yeah, the funny thing is, he's been streaming on Twitch for years. I've been streaming on Twitch for over a year now. And we both last week just found out about each other and followed each other. So yeah, old homie. Um, y'all have to watch his stream because so he can DJ anything, right? Like 80s hip hop. He's an actual turntablist, so he can, scratch and all of that wiki stuff. But he has two cameras. So he has a studio camera, and when he gets up to go get a record, there's a camera in the separate room for vinyl. It's amazing. So all of you freaking vinyl nerds would just love it. Oh my god, Ballisticus, thank you for the raid. Party of 8. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you so much. Yeah, talk a little bit, Matt. Okay, your mic is not coming through. That's a problem. That's my fault. Okay, Matt, try again. What the fudge? Okay, try again. One more time. Son of a bitch. What the fuck? Okay, there we go. Now we got you.
Yay!
Jeez, what a
Hi.
freaking disaster.
What's up, my dudes?
I never said I was a professional, even though someone just paid me with a 5-pack of subs. But guys, how are we volume wise?
Yo, everybody
okay,
good?
it looks like we're probably close to each other in volume. But let me know if we're
I
not.
just wanna be close to you.
Okay, God, we have a bunch of people to say hi to. So, hey, but first, let me just say if you're new here or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. I'm Curly. This is my stream. It's called D&B Q&A because I'm a total nerd for drum and bass and for talking to people. And so, yeah, it's not necessarily a straight interview show, but I get somebody on who I want to know better or who I enjoy. And we talk, and there are questions. And, hopefully the audience has questions too, and we have a good time. And, there you go. So, yeah, mic intake, welcome aboard. And you know what? I got to do something here.
Do you have Return of the Mic?
Do I have what?
Oh, I thought you were going to play Return of the Mic.
No. Oh, God, I wish I did, though. That's what I have to do. Guys, you need to go to Offworld's Bandcamp right now or at the end of this stream because Mike Intake had an EP come out on Monday, and it's fucking incredible.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's beyond good. Alan, thank you for releasing that. Oh yeah, if you guys didn't know, LM1 in the chat is the label boss of Offworld Recordings. But yeah, that EP is incredible. And so yeah, buy it. Okay, so Dinah Group was in here first. Thank you so much.
There's even a Secret Structures collab on it.
Yes, if you were here for the pre-roll, that amazing, amen, ridiculous, insane, so beautiful tune. that played last is actually from that EP, and it is Mike Intake and Secret Structures, and it's called Warehouse. And I wish I had a raving warehouse to hear it in because it's fucking amazing. But yeah, let's say hi to everybody. Dinah Groove, thanks for being here first. Spiral Body, Awaken the Jake and Zookeeper. Diana Fired, thank you so much. Of course, Alan, we've already said hi to you, but hello again. Wadden, Darth Liquid, or is it Waden? I don't know. Mike Intake, the legend. Sad Boy Piano King, who is now making harder edge music, and I freaking dig it. Yagomi DJ Love, so good to see you. Thanks so much for hanging out. Ballisticus, again, thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciated. So we can come here and talk to our crazy friend, Matt, Secret Structures, one of the many Matts, one of the Council of Matts.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
What?
Korax. Awesome, Korax. Big up, welcome in. Okay, I think I said hi to everybody. So if you don't know, for anybody that doesn't know, this guy here, right there, his name is Matt. He produces under the name Secret Structures, and he makes drum and bass. He makes ambient. He has other aliases under which he has made and released other kinds of music. And he streams. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen a Secret Structure stream, I don't quite know how to describe it. It is different every time. But if you have some time on a Wednesday, you really ought to kick it over there. You know what? Somebody in the chat could kind of try to explain Wednesday, but I don't think you can explain Wednesday. I think Wednesday defies explanation.
It's a state of mind.
The music can change at any time. What did you play for my birthday? It was like 90s jams or something. It was so cool.
Oh, that
Oh
was
my gosh.
fun. Oh, wow.
A1, thank you so much for the
Yo.
raid. Welcome in,
What's
A1
up?
and Raiders. Y'all gotta check out my Raiders. So Ballisticus came first. Please give him a follow. He's great. And Escape Velocity Official, one of the most fun streams on Twitch. They stream every Friday, and he's doing these Thursday streams now. But the Thursday schedule's a little crazy because they just got their new house, so they're busy. Hey, App Guy, good to see you. Oh man, welcome in everybody. Y'all are amazing.
Hi.
Yes, amigo.
Amigos.
Look,
What's up?
there it is. There's my command. That's it. You just read my command without even seeing it. So yeah, I brought Matt here because Matt has become Matt is a beautiful human. He has become a true friend over quarantine and our time on Twitch. And he's really encouraged me in my production and suffered through so many whips and so much of the self-doubt that comes with it. But
Always
yeah.
have faith.
Yeah. Well, if you know what, like anything in life, if you put in the work, you can get there. And you were confident much faster than I was even close to confident. So, but yeah, okay, let's dive into this because there's such basic questions that I end up asking the same ones all the time, but the answers are different every time. So I'm interested in them every time. So tell me how you found like raving electronic music, drum and bass. Give it to me. Where and how?
Sure. Let's say I was turned on to it in high school. For me, that would have been around in 1990, probably about 95. A good friend of mine was a promoter. This is in Detroit, and he was a techno promoter. And he had been trying to get me to go to a couple of his parties, and I had been doing music before that for a long time. playing in bands and guitar and singing and
Okay.
stuff. And I did not go to the first couple parties of his. It just wasn't my scene, right? And then like maybe 96 to 97, just more and more of my friends were going to them. And I finally got dragged along to a party. And this is downtown Detroit. This is I couldn't tell you where. It was an abandoned warehouse. I mean, these are the real scary, real party days, you know.
Yes. The ones where you look back as an adult and you're like, oh God, if there had been a fire, I would be dead.
Absolutely.
Trampled,
Yep.
whatever. Okay. Anyway, so yeah.
And so, first party I go to, it's all techno. I don't know if there was even more than one room. I think there was 2 rooms, but this is like bare bones, dirty Detroit. Nothing but a strobe light and some wall of speakers, right? And
What year was this?
it was probably 96 or
Okay.
maybe 97.
Okay.
And so we're caravanning down there in about 3 or 4 carloads of friends of mine. And and I'm like, fine, I'll go. You know, they finally talked me into it. And everyone there was going to be taking ecstasy. And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that shit. Come on, dude. You know, it was just part of it. I mean, you know it is. It's just part of the culture, part of the history. Yeah. But then I realized, you know what? I don't want to be the only one not like getting it. So they got me to take one, whatever. So
I'm not going to be the only one not jumping off the cliff.
Right. Because they'll all be down there to catch me.
Or break my fall. One of the two.
So we get down there. I'd say we're there for an hour before the cops bust the thing. So my first party, the cops are there. None of us got in trouble. I don't know, we snuck out or whatever. It was, or maybe they weren't like busting people. They were just breaking the party up. And we probably lived about 45 minutes from downtown. So all of us drive down back home and go to this lake in our home city and just trip out at a lake for the next 8 hours, And then next weekend, they're like, well, we're going to another one. I'm like, all right, I'm in.
All it took, one pill. That was it.
Right. One.
Dude, what a great introduction. I mean, that's just like quintessential classic, dark, dirty, straight up illegal warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
Terrified, like just banging hard techno. Yeah. And broken up by the cops. I mean,
yeah, that was it.
It's a classic story. It's a classic story right there.
So that's how I got into the electro. I mean,
and in Detroit, I can't believe it.
There was things before that, looking back, that were electronic that I always liked. But as far as like the techno scene or electronic scene, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to maybe 1 or 2 parties after that before I heard jungle.
Okay.
And all of my friends were mostly into house. Some were into techno. And then me and a girl named Susie were standing in this jungle room with our jaws dropped open. First time I'd ever heard sub bass and chopped up drum, crazy amens.
Yes.
And everyone else at the party's in the other room, and me and her are just standing there like, this is our shit right here. Like, this was it. So, awesome. But I mean, electronically, looking back, I had been a fan of the Orb before I went there. Mm-hmm. Depeche Mode was always a huge influence on me. I mean, it's very electronic stuff. So, mm-hmm. I had never disliked electronic music. It's just right. At the time I was invested in, metal bands and stuff like that. So.
That's so great. It's interesting. A lot of the people that have come on this show were like super into like industrial, which I never got into. Like I was full like grunge,
Well, that's another one. Yeah. I mean, 9 Inch Nails, Ministry. I love that stuff. So.
Yeah. But that's, God, I love that. I actually did not like jungle when I first heard it. But I had a good reason for that. I walked into the jungle room. It was my second rave. I walked in, and this is my very first experience. So Devious One, who is now an actual friend, I didn't know him then, had he's an asshole, but like in like the kind of asshole that I love. He had turned the fucking fog machine on so much that literally you could not see your hand in front of your face. So I walk in there. I'm the pill had probably hit me by that point, and it is like mean, dark, chopped up amens. And I'm like, nope. Like I turned around and just noped out of there. But at like 2 or 3 a.m., my friend Dean was in there. Eventually, my friend Dean was in there, and he was playing like atmospheric jungle, and I was like, oh, this is different. And there weren't very many people in there, and you actually could see your hand in front of your face. And yeah, then like a month or two later, I went to an all jungle party, and it was over for me.
I don't think there was ever all jungle parties in Detroit. It was always a very small room if there was going to be any at a party. You know,
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
until the scene grew enough to where we started to have regular club nights.
right.
But at parties, it was not rare. Well, it wasn't always going to be there.
So was there was there like a group of junglists or like people you connected with?
Yeah, I finally found them,
Hmm.
and I'm going to the shows with cassette tapes in my pocket, handing them out to whoever will listen. Mixes and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Mixes of you or like
yeah, like DJ mixes that I did, trying to get some gigs.
okay, when did you start DJing?
As soon as possible. You know what I mean? Like the first party I went to, I was already a music head, so I instantly said, I want to do this. I want to learn
Right.
everything
Right.
about it. And
Right.
I
Right.
don't know what they're doing. I think they're making the music with the records.
Oh yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no idea what they're doing. And then somebody that I know, in fact, I started buying vinyl before I had a pair of turntables. I had a
Yep.
turntable I could listen to, and then I had one friend kind of who had a mixer. It was probably like a 2-channel Vestax, or you know what I'm saying. It had EQ on it,
Classic.
but
Classic.
just hearing how the EQ would change something what was enough to where and then I got it. I understood kind of what was happening with DJing. So, but I DJed as soon as I could, and started producing as soon as I could.
Wow.
So
Okay, so that's amazing. Like it took me a couple years. Like I always knew I would learn how to DJ, but I just wasn't ready. But production. Okay, so I tried my hand initially at production in 2000. And man, that was a different world. So tell me about your first production setup. Like what'd you start with?
well, I mean, I had various. It was different back then.
Yes, it was.
It was hardware, So I mean, I didn't know how to do it, so I went through a whole bunch of different drum machines,
Uh-huh.
and I would just screw around on drum machines and make cool patterns and stuff. But it was,
Yep.
and then like I got as a gift, I think, some super cheesy like DJ software where it came
Yes.
loaded with a bunch of like stems, kind of. And I think you had maybe like 2 decks and like maybe 4 or 8 on each one.
Oh
And
wow.
I pushed that to the point of actually getting like 2 songs released off,
Are you
off of it. So
That's
that was
amazing.
in conjunction with like an old like I can't remember, Steinberg, I think, made like a 303 emulator. And so I don't think it was EJ, but I want to call it like Beatmaster. It's just something totally corny.
Hmm.
That might have been EJ. I don't know. And then just from there, I would like download an Amen loop that I found or something, and just kind of, yeah, Rebirth was it. Thank you.
Way to go,
So
man.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah, it was a different world. Like, I mean, I didn't start till 2000, and you could do some things on the computer, but I mean, I started with Acid Pro 3.0, and
mm,
you weren't making bass in that, let me tell you. And I've never liked bass samples ever. I've always been like, this isn't what it sounds like in my head. I can't, I can't make it work. Like, give me a super simple patch on a VST, and I'm like, okay, I can live with this, but no. Oh, Ballistica started with Acid too. Nice. You still have the CD of Rebirth
that's
338? That's amazing. Look what I still have the CD of, except my shit is not reversed. So, yeah. Acid Pro. Oh, and good old Soundforge.
Soundforge. There it is. I would use
Yep.
that up until not that long ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in the day when if you wanted reverb on your sample, you had to take it into Soundforge, do
Oh
all
yeah.
your effects, save it, bring it back into
Oh,
Acid.
at one point, I had actually been using a calculator to chop beats in Soundforge. Like that's like, yeah. So I guess it goes out that
A
far back.
calculator?
Yeah,
What?
like I would like figure out the time of a sample and then cut it into maybe eighths or sixteenths. And even though the waveform was there, I would still, use the numbers
Uh-huh.
along with the visual
Wow.
cues, I guess. So,
So I remember when I started, Fruity Loops was a sequencer. That was it. It was not a DAW. And man, did I make some shitty percussion sequences. I mean, because it was just so 1, 2, 3, 4. What, like no swing, no, Oh God, I still have them. I think somewhere. They're so bad. They're terrible.
Fruity
But,
Loops was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe around 2000, a roommate of mine got it on his desktop, and he didn't care if I, messed around when he wasn't home or whatever. We'd work on it together and stuff. And so that's where I really started to, you don't know what you're doing, so you put every single effect on everything until you learn what they do,
Yep.
type of thing. And the
I'm
ones at
still
first,
doing that.
the ones at first, like limiters, compressors, that type of stuff. It's like you can't tell what they're doing. So
Yes.
I stopped using them, you know what I mean? But like flangers, reverbs, delays, all of that stuff. And then the sequencing and stuff would was obviously a lot easier on Fruity Loops than EJ or whatever it was.
Oh man. Oh God.
So, and then I stuck with Fruity Loops for years until I, for one reason or another, I wasn't getting the sounds that I liked out of it, and I thought that Ableton would make my music sound better, and I traveled over there, and it's probably been 15 or more years, and I haven't left Ableton. So still on live. No one
Yeah.
calls it live, even though that's the name of the program.
Yeah, right. Ableton is the company, Live is the program. But yeah, it's interesting. Like people get like super hot about like which DAW is the best, and I'm like, the best one is the one that you feel comfortable using.
Yeah,
That's the best one.
True.
The one that you will actually work in is the best one. But I mean, it is nice if you use Ableton because there's so many tutorials out there. Kind of like if you have a VST and you want to make bass, having Serum is really nice because there's a lot of tutorials out there and a lot of patches. But wow. So what were the first tunes you got released working on your little EJ?
Yeah, so one was called, I don't remember. Zylock, if you know that name. I was chatting with him, and we had to have met at some point just because it was a small scene. He was around, Detroit, Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti at the same time I was. But he doesn't remember meeting me. I don't remember meeting him. But anyway, somehow we ran into each other here on Twitch, and it turns out he still has a copy of the CD that those tracks were released on. So he was like able to send me a rip of it or whatever. And
Yeah.
what it was at the time we had it was Michigan, it was MI for Michigan, mijungleist.com. And so there was tracks on there from Sound Murderer and SK1. Aaron
Wow.
Ronan Select is the one that put it all together. And yeah, they're really bad. It's really bad music, but I mean, that's where that's where it started. So
I mean, I got plenty of those on my I got a few of those on my SoundCloud that I can't wait to switch over to the real one. Because all those aren't, one of those will come with me, but not all of them. Hey, Casper Cloud, welcome in. Tiger, welcome in. Special Tater, good to see you. Proper Motion. Who else has joined us? I think those are Froggy, Not a Con. Great to see you. I'm just gonna say I can't shout all of you out, but please, everyone here, literally follow everyone because there are a lot of really awesome streamers here. So
yeah, there are,
yeah, there are a whole lot. So
except for one.
except for one, except for one. Okay, so a while back you sent me a folder full of old tunes in all caps by labeled as being by Matt Haggerty. Now, one of those I love the most, which is After the Pain. That's the one I love the most. Cuz that one to me is like full like early like it's like early hospital vibes like for me like but a lot of them are super mean, like super mean, and which is why I haven't played them very often because that's not typically what I end up playing. But when did you make those?
Yeah, so I moved from Detroit to Southern California 20 years ago, like
Wow,
today or yesterday. I mean, we're
wow.
like right around now. And it doesn't seem like it's been that long.
Mm-hmm.
So most of those were written, I'm going to say, in between 2002 and 2005. And
Wow.
yeah, they were mean. I used to write really heavy, gnarly drum and bass.
Did you shop those around at all back then?
Never.
Why?
I didn't think they were good enough.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your advice on that now? Like, do you wish you had shopped them around?
I don't know. I don't know because some of them might have gotten signed here and there, but I probably would have picked a stupid name for myself. You know, I probably would have called myself like Dark Lord or something. Who knows, right? So I don't know.
Edge Lord 303.
Yeah, right.
Um,
But advice, sure, send it out there. I mean, why not? You know, like all they're going to say is no.
that's
But
true.
but I don't know. I never thought it was good enough. So, and I don't know if it was. I know people
Right.
like some of it now. It's fun to go back and I mean, I've got I hundreds
Wow.
hundreds of drum and bass songs. Like
Wow.
not 300 or 400, but probably over two.
Wow.
So it's interesting to go back and see the evolution, the change, I guess.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I wanted to go next was like how did you go from like this 20 years younger sort of aggro music making young man to the ambient liquid loving gentleman that you are now?
I don't know. Age, just I don't have the energy. I don't have the anger anymore.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, but I had always made like full spectrum. I mean, I wasn't just doing that stuff. I was making both at the same time.
Hmm.
Even ambient music and stuff.
Hmm.
I've been making that. So I've done. I do a project with my brother that's like Depeche Mode kind of style. I do lots of so. I'd always done everything. And in fact, I even got on the dubstep thing for a long time and lost a few years of my life to that.
Oh
But
God. Okay, but was it like bro step or was it like
in between, I mean,
okay.
honestly, if I had understood synths better, I probably would have made more bro step. But I got into it, I'd say like a year and a half before that took over everything. So, I mean, my dubstep influence was still the sexy, dubby, sparse,
Burial.
not, yeah, exactly. Like, Scream, Banga, that type of stuff.
Ballistic has asked what is bro step. So here's my understanding of bro step, and what I will say is that I don't like it, but that doesn't mean it's bad. 20 years ago, I would have said if I don't like it, it's shit. But I don't care for it. But it's like the way it's been described to me is that is like that sort of aggressive, noisy, like sometimes it almost sounds like the dubstep version of like neuro, a little bit. So, intake. Brostep is American dubstep with the EDM infusion. That sounds like a Google search result to me.
That's about right. Yeah, Excision and Skrillex, obviously that whole sound. I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about that though. Yeah, gross.
No. So yeah, I loved dubstep the first time I heard it because I had someone tell me you have to listen to Burial, this new thing, dubstep. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in love. I'm in love. And then the next time I heard dubstep was at a party and it was brostep and my life changed. It got worse. But so so yeah, how'd you get like when did you get to the point where you started, really like pushing your tunes for release? I don't know how long you've been really releasing.
2 years ago
Okay.
at the most, 2019, I guess,
Yeah.
is that maybe 2.5 years ago. Um, so I had gotten, um, had a couple kids, got married, and just put it all away.
Yeah.
It's just stopped writing music for a good 5 years. Went through divorce, had a lot of new free time, and got back into it. Just said, I always enjoyed doing it. And actually, it sparked with a friend of mine named Matt, another one, who was one of the first people I met when I moved to California, who was a drum and bass guy, and he good DJ. Didn't really write a lot of tunes, but fun guy to hang out with. And a side note, he and I actually started Peer Pressure Recordings. I think it's still
Oh,
out there.
nice.
I named it. He has, but I never really went along with any of it. I was more just into making music, and I don't know why we never released any of my tunes, but
Rude. Missed opportunity.
me and him have had several falling out and got back together. Mostly not because of me and him, but someone else. Anyway,
Say no more. I don't want to talk about it.
Anyway, so this is connected in some way. Magnified, I believe, was the first release on Peer Pressure.
Okay.
Magnified, somebody that I met on AIM, like a long time ago, 2003 or 4 at the maybe.
The AIM glory days.
Yeah, and so 3.5 years ago, my friend Matt says, Magnified's got a new release. You should check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And this is on Soul Deep, and it's called the Hydrotherapy EP. And I loved it. And so I just reached out and said, asked Magnified, can I remix one?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, sure, man, it's been a long time, And so that's what got me into drum and bass again. I didn't even listen to drum and
Nice.
bass for years and years, years and years.
Wow.
I didn't listen to drum and bass from 2005 till 2019. So I know none of that music.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it started to like, that was like right when I stopped listening was like when Pendulum and that scene started, and it was too big for me. And it started to. Do you remember the term clown step? No one says it
Yes.
anymore, but it was
Body rock.
started to get clowny, and I didn't care for it. But the magnified thing, he sent me the stems, and I did a remix of it, and it was supposed to be released, but it never did. It's still in limbo. However, that got me into writing music again, and I put together 5, 6 songs real quickly, and he sent them to Scott at Soul Deep, and that was the Atlantis Lost EP, and just kept rolling from there.
Wow. That's funny because the first track I ever worked on was a remix. It was a Beck remix contest. And that's what got me into it. It's amazing. I'm so glad. Magnified wherever you are. God bless you. You did us a service. God, so that had to be really cool in like a challenging part of life to come back and find a passion for something, right? That you had kind of put to the side.
Oh, I tried to shout out Magnified. He does stream, by the way, rarely, but he does production streams, and they're very, very much worth watching. He knows what he's doing way more than I do, even, and he's awesome. But no, it was fun to get back into it, and then but at that point in my life, I didn't have any drum and bass friends, and Awaken the Jakin is the one that turned me onto Discord. He's like, "Yo, me and my brother hang out on here and talk." I said, "Okay, let's do that." And so, we would just drink some beers and hang out. And then I think just from there, I started looking for drum and bass Discords to join. And, places where you could throw up a work in progress and maybe get a little feedback on it or something.
Yep.
And then from there, I met Mr. Intake, met Zookeeper on there. Met Tom, aka Forrest, who's very secretive, and a handful of other people, and then those are the people that dragged me into Twitch, and now my life's over.
When was that they drug you into Twitch?
2021.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, in fairness, a lot of us came then, and what else did we have to do? I mean,
yeah.
I remember those early days, and it's like everybody was like desperate for connection, But
it started with Airstrike. Mike Intake said, a friend of mine does this stuff on Twitch, and by the way, here, let's give you an invite to Mike Airstrike's Discord.
Right.
And then that's where I met you.
Yep.
I know that, and and a bunch of other people, and that's where it goes.
Yeah. Is that how you met Alan?
Through Discord in some way or another.
Yeah.
Probably from Mike Intake.
Yeah. Wow. That's so okay. So I used to see you all the time too in Man Like Deep's streams back when literally 5 o'clock everybody was in
the good old days
streams. Yeah, man, it was wild. It's crazy. The chat was as much or bigger of the show than anything else.
So much fun, yeah.
So much fun. But what made you decide to start streaming?
Actually, I want to thank Man Like Deep because his show was legendary. We all know that.
Yep.
And he played a lot of my music, and he didn't have to do that, and it was really nice of him. And so I think that really helped, get my name out there or whatever. But yeah, that was real nice of him. What made me want to start streaming? I was streaming before I did drum and bass streams to nobody. and I won't talk about it a lot, but I went balls to the wall, absolute obsession with speedrunning Super Metroid, the Super Nintendo game.
Okay.
And the only reason I set up a Twitch account was because I could use Twitch to record my games without having to record them on my hard drive. You know what I mean? Save hard drive space. Because I had a goal. I was trying to beat the game in an hour, and you needed to send video proof to make it onto the speedrun archives. And so that was it. So I'd already had but it wasn't like I didn't have a microphone. I didn't have a camera. I was literally just using it to record the video game. And I achieved my goal. I beat the game in 59 minutes and 50 seconds, and I'm like 750th in the world.
Whoa!
But so I'd already had a Twitch account, at that point, and then so it was kind of easy. And then also, I have a little bit of a competitive nature, and so when I saw, Airstrike and Juice and some of the other, streams, I was, I can do that. So I set up a stream, and it's all history now, right?
Wow. Sorry about the bot, guys. I don't know what's wrong, and I can't fix it. So, oh yeah, Good Shepherd. First of all, welcome in. Second of all, speed running. That would be a great track title.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were doing that stuff. What made you decide to do a drum and bass related type stream?
Because I have thousands of records and thought, let's share them. I mean, I hadn't even. So not only did I take that long hiatus from writing music, but I took a long time away from spinning records. I'm not even out. I played out quite a bit in Detroit, to the point where I was getting booked sometimes even in Toledo, Cleveland, Chicago, right? So I mean, I was getting some gigs. Moving to California, I didn't have any connections out here. I didn't have any friends out here. I just did it, and it took me a very long time to make, friends and inroads, because it's a small scene here too. So like DJing out and stuff, I've done it a handful of times here, but I still have my turntables and records, and I, over the course of a few years, inherited 3 different jungleists' entire collections. So, I mean, I don't know how many records are in a crate. 100?
Oh God, 80, 100, something like that. I bet Harakiri Tiger knows.
So I've got about 22 crates right now of
Holy
records.
Crap.
And that was after a massive purge. I got rid of 22 or so a couple of years ago. Like, it was gross. And I'd say, like, right now, I'd probably have about 4 crates of techno, 1 crate of ambient wax, maybe 4 of, like, Beatles and that type of shit. And then, like, the rest is drum and bass. Just tons and tons of jungle and drum and bass. So I set up my turntables and was playing records on stream.
I can't believe you took such a step away, but kept your turntables and your records.
Well,
that really surprises me for some reason.
I don't know. There's no reason to get rid of them, even though they're heavy and not fun to move.
Yeah, heavy, not fun to move.
But yeah,
take up a lot of space.
And then, I was writing music too, and I wanted to be able to play my stuff, so I set up the whole Serato thing. Thank you very much to Dynagroove, who sent me a mixer in the mail for free. He didn't have to do that.
Dyna, legend.
And then,
I would shout you out if my bot worked.
I was having issues with Serato, and so I bought a controller.
Yep.
And I've been on that for a few months now. But I really thought there'd be more music that I could rebuy that I have on wax, and it's not out there. I really, I never shopped for it because I hadn't. But once I couldn't play it, I wanted to play it, and there's either really bad rips of it for sale,
Yep.
or it's just not there. So I've been getting some requests to set the turntables up again. I'll do it one
Yeah.
of these days.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to do shout outs for a minute so I can
Yeah,
go
let's do.
say hi to
Go
someone
ahead.
in the other
Go
room
ahead.
for a second? Thank you.
Yep. Do it. Okay, so let's see who's joined us recently here. First of all, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate that. And if anybody in the chat right now can give me a simple idea about how to get the bot back. I parted it and rejoined, and it's failing to rejoin. But okay, so Good Shepherd, you rolled in. Very nice to see you. Alita, I didn't get to say hi to you on the mic. Good to see you. Captain Edith, what's up? Let's see here. DJ Spade, thank you so much for being here. Oh, DJ Rasta, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Eckhart Lowell, Gooey French Toast, Gausif, Tiger, I said hi to you. Jump Tower, great to see you. Mr. Miasma, Mr. Burnt Yogurt, good to see you. Yet another Matt. Let's see. Proper Motion, Pixel Pusher, Special Tater, I said hi to you. Spiral Body, Wadden, my man, Yagomi, DJ Love. Thank you all so much for being here. The gang really is all here, Proper Motion. You're totally right. And y'all are like, y'all are making me proud in the chat. I'm having trouble. I'm afraid. I don't think you guys are asking a lot of questions, but please try and tag me if you're asking questions. I'm hoping my highlight works, but hey, and A1's been listening and lurking, and maybe SenseNet too. Great to see you. Hey, thanks for the bits. Proper Motion, Legend, love it. Okay, so we need to talk about something. So you started streaming with the Vino. I feel like it was pretty early on that the stream started to get a little different. I believe it was probably with Windex. And Oof. Okay, so I mean, did you have a plan as to like what kind of stream you wanted to have?
No, I just was playing records. But watching the creativity that other streamers have, it was fun to start diving into that, learning how to use OBS better, learning how to use commands and stuff. So yeah, the Windex joke started on Airstrike stream, but I was happy to keep it alive for a while. But I retired it, which you got to grow.
Keep it fresh.
But the oof thing was funny because I don't even remember doing it. I was like looking at different things you can do with your channel points, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever they're called.
Yes.
And I don't remember. It was like the first one I just clicked oof, and for 1 point or whatever it was, Windex will never die. I picked oof, and I forgot I put it on there. And not only that, but I feel like whoever discovered it started spamming it. It's so stupid and funny that I had to leave it.
Yes. Well, and now you've graduated.
Although now it's been broken for a while, and then Pizza Ball is the next stupid thing.
Fucking Pizza Ball.
I don't even like it. The whole reason I added it is because I was watching that show, which was Eric Andre, and it's funny, man. But it got stuck in my head that time to deliver Pizza Ball. So I thought, like, if I can get it stuck in someone else's head, maybe it will leave my head, right? Which didn't happen, but it became a thing. So, and then from there on, I learned more how to add more of those commands, and anytime I just had a funny idea, I threw it up there. It's all organic. I mean, none of it's forced. It's just kind of something that became a stream meme, I guess.
Yes. So I will say to anybody listening, so if you join Matt, Sunday night's a great time to join, or for the first time, and Wednesday's good too. But what I'm gonna need you to do is give it a minute. Just like eventually you'll get it. It gets a little weird. It gets a little weird and it feels a little off the rails, but it's not. It's like a weird secret thing. but it's amazing. And what I love the most about it is it's like really sourced in a love of music. And you're kind of proof to me that of something I've always thought, which is that um, people that love a diverse style sound of music make the best DJs and the best producers. Because
I like
like
so much music. Yeah,
yeah,
I hate.
well,
Although it's funny because there's way more music I don't like than music I like. So maybe I don't like music.
you like
I mean,
music, you're a
think about it.
DJ.
You got me.
No, but like you like a lot of different sounds, right? Like and I think that's really healthy like for a DJ and for a producer because you get a broader variety of influences, right? And like inspiration. Okay, so we have a couple really good questions. So Ballisticus asked, what was the first tune you made and sat back and said, yeah, fucking love this one?
I don't know. I can't think of one really. It had to have been maybe one of the ones in between like 2002, 2005, somewhere around there where I was like, all right, I'm starting to get it. Like this sounds like what I'm buying or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Apparently
Yeah.
I didn't think that enough to where I would send it to a label, but I don't know. I can't think of a specific one.
Hmm.
But there was a year there where I started to hit a stride, and you know, it's like was learning sequencing, synth work, sampling, and putting it together in a
Hmm.
state that sounded pretty good.
Hmm. I think it's like DJing, for example. DJing is a lot more fun once you know how to beat match. Like once you're not struggling with that every single time, it gets to be a lot more fun. And I've certainly felt that way with production. Like once I got things sort of sounding okay, it became a lot more fun. Okay, so Alan asked, "Do you have plans to do any more ambient LPs?"
I do have plans to do it, but I'm not working towards it. I would like to. I know there's more of it up here to get out, you know, if that makes sense. I did
Yeah.
buy a bunch of really nice plugins that I'm looking
Ooh,
forward to using. But I'm
interesting.
production wise, I'm not at a plateau, but I've committed to a lot of collaborations,
Hmm.
and I want to clear my plate and get them all done before I start any new solo stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and once can do that, then I want to start incorporating all these new toys that I haven't even really played with. So
That's exciting. Okay, so talk to me about ambient then. What is it about ambient for you?
it's about being at Trema Trailer's house when I was probably like 15 and being on acid and him putting a pair of headphones on me and said, listen to this. And it was the orb. So, no, yeah, that's a little life changer. And I've seen the orb a couple times since then live too. But yeah, that's where it
Wow.
started. And it's just beautiful music. I like it and I like to listen to it. So in
Hmm.
fact, it's very fun to write too because I don't, I don't know if I've ever shared this. The way I write ambient music, I work at weird tempos. For
Hmm.
instance, sometimes it'll be like, 32 tempo or
Hmm.
104 or whatever, right? But then what I'll also do is the way I set up loops is one thing might be looping every 7 bars, the next one every 15. So
Hmm.
it's even though it's looping, you can't catch it because
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
not grid based, even though it is.
That's so
Um,
interesting.
and it's fun to make because it's about what isn't there. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's like when you were, I think, first sort of really focusing on like Sundays being ambient, you were like, send me tracks, and I was like, okay, I should just try like whatever. But then I sat down and I'm like, there are no rules, which is alternately amazing and terrifying. It's like
Totally.
I don't even know where to start. Like I know what ambient music is, but I don't know where to even start. It's I don't know. Like I think you have to be really creative in something like that cuz it's not just like there's no hiding. Like you can't hide behind drums or even vocals or you know what I mean? Like sometimes vocals can be a cheat code, right? Um not to diss anybody that makes vocal drum and bass. I know I certainly do. But they can be a simple way to like spice things up. But yeah, ambient. Straddling on the line of like chill but not tipping into boring.
Yeah, there's a line to draw there for sure. But I enjoy. But I mean, even I wouldn't say boring, but I mean, I can even respect. I guess you'd call it drone music. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's a subgenre, of ambient or whatever. But I mean, I can respect one pad played for 7 minutes if it has just enough change in it. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I just discovered like so
By the way,
speaking of
I'm sorry. Let
change.
me
Yeah.
interrupt you. I'm sorry if I'm like doing weird stuff like this. I woke up with a gnarly kink in my back, and I'm hurting today, guys. So that's why I'm doing
If you want to get up and move
weird
around or if
stuff.
we need to end early, we can do that. It's
I'm doing
fine. We
good,
can leave
thanks.
them wanting more.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of more, guys, before I forget, tomorrow Secret Structures is the guest on Good Shepherd's Good Friday sessions.
Oh,
Good Shepherd, will you post your Twitch link in the chat so people can follow you since my stupid bot isn't working, please? I'm actually going to be guest hosting again this week because Good Shepherd has kids and they've got stuff going on Fridays lately. So I'll be guest hosting. I can't wait. I can't wait to have you there. I hope you're going to play a lot of your music. And like, I hope you're going to play some of that infrastructure stuff because I love it. And Mike Intake, you are here. Y'all need to finish that stuff. It's good. And I mean, honestly, at this point, if old homeboy, if Foe can't get it together, y'all should just finish him.
oh.
But okay, so Alan had another question. If you could go back in time, where would you go and why? Hey, RCA Trash, welcome in.
That's so abstract. Come on. I mean, are we being realistic here? I mean, going back
We're talking about time travel, Matt. How realistic can we be being?
Well, I'm saying go back 500 years and you couldn't even be able to speak English to somebody. You know, the dialects changed so much.
Okay. Wherever you go, you can communicate with people. We'll give you that. Now, where would you go?
Big Bang.
Oh wow!
Sure.
See how it all went down.
Yeah, let's see what was. That's so disappointed. I'm so disappointed myself with that answer.
We could think about it. Oh yeah, Proper Motion, the OG big bass drop.
That's right.
Yep. And they gave it all in the first drop. Okay, let's talk first drops and second drops because you and I have had this conversation before.
Sure.
So, old heads in the chat or old producers in the chat, remember the days when the second drop was crucial. DJs were mixing on vinyl. They tended to mix longer, and tracks were 100% judged on, is the second drop bigger, better, different in a appreciable way than the first drop? And some of us that I know still have that in our minds. But I remember talking to you. What do you think about a second drop?
I don't think most DJs play up to the second drop nowadays. So I don't put effort into making the second drops of my songs really much different than the first. I think, I mean, it's worth putting effort into the build up and the drop, but
Yeah.
I don't care for I don't think it's a reward for the listener because the format is it's DJ music, and I don't think most DJs are playing it that far anyway.
But see, I look at it and I'm like, because I remember, I mean, this like is burned in my brain. I remember at one point you telling me, don't hold anything back. If you have it, put it all in.
Put it on the first drop.
The first drop.
100%.
But for me, it's twofold. One, a lot of times I feel like the second drop needs more of a build up for it to make sense than what I have. Like my idea for the second drop needs more time to like build up to get there than I have in an intro. But the other thing is that I think there are a lot of people that are listening to music on like Spotify or Apple Music. And if those people aren't listening to it mixed, they're actually going to hear your whole tune. So like I have in my mind that there are multiple listening situations, right? Now, DJs, I mean, DJs are, I'll just say this as a DJ, a lot of DJs are lazy and we don't like to work hard, which is why I bitch at you about 40-bar intros because I have to do the math or loop the 8-bar or, beat jump back 8 bars to make it work if the tune I'm mixing into has a 16-bar phrase. Or the worst, when a producer does their breakdown and then right before the drop is like, I'm going to throw 4 bars in here so you can't double drop this shit. Fucking dickheads. I hate that. But that's the thing. We're a bunch of babies. We're a bunch of whiny babies. Oh, yeah. I also hate 17-bar or 16-bar intros bullshit. First bar has bass, also bullshit. Like, I mean,
I try to make my tracks drop around 1 minute.
Is that what you're looking for?
That's about what I do. One minute of
and
intro.
A multiple of 8. Okay, I got it. That makes sense. Whereas before, oh my god, like I have old records. One of the tracks that I really love that I got introduced to in 2020 was Matrix's remix of Gold Tricks Trippin', and it's great. That tune doesn't drop until like 113. It is, I'm like, damn, I have tunes that are barely longer than this intro. Now, needless to say, I don't play the whole intro, but back in the day, that would have been great to have. Okay, so Good Shepherd says 48 bars is 108 on 174.
Yeah, that's about right.
So no excuse for a 40-bar intro.
Well, intro plus the drop before the drop, or
the breakdown before the intro. Yeah. Do you do that? Because I don't. You're right, though. I've seen you do that where you kind of like slow, ambient sort of start, drums, and then you do have kind of like a mini breakdown before the drop.
A lot of them I do. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I never really did it intentionally, but I think you're right.
Yeah. See, this is why I love digital, because it's so helpful. Like, I'm a really visual person, which is why, what?
Oh, you did the mic thing.
Oh, sorry. I'm like a really visual person, so that's why the arrangement view is like really nice for me in Ableton. It makes a lot of sense to me. So being able to see the waveform visually has been really cool because it really helps me like hone in on the structure. Before then, I could hear when it was coming, but I never counted or anything like that. That was just never my scene. Apparently I monked and I just hit it again. Damn it!
It did kind of sound like the monks thing.
Good night, Alan. Thank you so much for hanging out, you legend. 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, thanks, Sid.
Or 2:00 in the morning. Yes. Crazy 2. Man. 2. Yes. 2.
That's one thing Twitch has got me, is I can tell you what time it is in England any fucking time of the day.
Yes. Yes. Well, and like one of the things it's done for me is like the world clock on my phone. I've actually set it like manually to specific cities that I'm interested in. Like the math is easy to the UK for me now, but it's Australia that gets me. Like it's
Yeah,
like
no
I have
idea.
Perth and Sydney because they're both different. But I don't even know how we got started talking. Oh yeah, drops. Saving it all for the drop. So the second drop. But yeah, making tunes for DJs, we're whiny and we like things to be easy and I mean, there's a certain necessity to like a similar structure in electronic music because it is DJ friendly. But
Similar structures.
how did you come up with the name Secret Structures? Where the hell did that come from?
It's a good question. So the magnified thing, getting back into drum and bass, I had written a track called Secret Structures. And I think it was actually the first one that I had finished that I was like happy with.
Hey, there you go. You just answered Ballisticus's question.
Okay. And so I think the folder was by default called Secret Structures or something because that was the first track in there. And then I had enough music to send out for that Soul Deep release. And it didn't have an artist name. And I thought that's good enough.
But why did you name the tune Secret Structures?
Because I'm like really into like ancient structures. No, I think it's like very old megalithic,
Aliens.
Sorry,
I had to do it.
not necessarily, but just it's just there's some very interesting things out there that are very old and that we probably couldn't build with today's technology. So I went down a rabbit
Pyramids,
hole.
yeah.
Yeah, I went down a rabbit hole of just very interesting stuff like that. So I think
Stonehenge is one that always gets me, and I haven't done enough investigating to know if somebody's like, "Oh, it was easy." It doesn't look easy.
I think that was actually rebuilt using cranes about 80 years ago, but I might be wrong.
But the fact that it was built, like, all those years ago, just like baffles me, blows my mind.
Yeah, that's a whole rabbit hole. I've spent hours and hours down that YouTube time sink. But
okay, so what were we? I made a cardinal mistake, guys, which I work really hard to not do this, and I totally blew it with Matt. I usually, with my guests, am like purposely very brief in conversation before we, like, even as we're preparing, like, weeks in advance for it. I try and be super brief so that we save it all for the show, and I totally blew it with Matt. We did not save it all for the show.
No, we were chatting for good 20, 30 before we started.
Yep. Oh God, and we had a good moment too, and I wish I could remember what it was. I was like, damn, we should have saved that for the
I remember it, but now I remember the moment. I don't remember what it was.
Yes.
Something was real clever.
Super clever. Okay, so I guess I'll ask this. Why? Because, like, you don't have to do this, right? Like, why would you, for anyone, like, look at a noob producer and talk to them about production and, like, be willing to sort of educate them or, like, give them feedback? Why would you do that?
One, because the desire in other producers to get better is contagious. Two, because I had zero mentors production-wise in my entire life, and it would have been amazing to learn something from someone instead of have to figure it out on my own. And so maybe there's probably not a number 3. I don't know. Well, 3, free dubs if the tune turns out good.
True. Those are all good reasons. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
It's a tough, it would have to be a really tough gig to try and learn it before YouTube with hardware and by yourself. Like, that's actually incredible to me.
lots of trial and error. Yeah, just lots of
Well,
and loving it. Obviously,
commitment, like real commitment. It takes commitment now, and now all you need is your computer.
the Korak says it right there, and he's right. It was not just close off, but pure gatekeeping.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that sucks. It just does.
Well, the
So
world wasn't connected at all. Like, literally, if you did not have someone willing to mentor you within a reasonable driving distance of where you were, forget it. Like, there was no YouTube to teach you anything. There was no Zoom or Skype or Discord that you could, work collaboratively through. Um, yeah.
and yeah, their chat's bigging up your tracks, and they should. The new ones are so good. They just are. They're really good. So
Well, I
get
guess
them
it's
out. Get them out there. They'll get signed. I promise you. Promise
I don't
you.
know. I'll talk to Michael about it. Um, you guys are nice. All of you are nice, and I'll tell you this. I really do believe that if you like someone, you are predisposed to liking what they do, whereas strangers are not. And that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're more likely to give a favorable review. Don't make promises for Alan, Mike. You did throw me off track, Good Shepherd. But okay. So yeah, let's talk about the fact that you got a lot of music stuff going on right now. Um, Talk to me about that. Like, I know you've got you did the remix for Good Shepherd. You did the track with Mike that is that's out now on his EP. Did you guys do something for Default's release too?
So the warehouse track is default.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's forthcoming.
That's right. Okay.
Not. I've got a lot of spinning a lot of plates.
Yeah.
I've got the always present infrastructure
Yes.
thing, and if you guys don't know what that is, that's a three-way collaboration, almost a 3-year collaboration between Intake, Forest, and Secret Structures. Hence the name Info Structure. And it's really hard to write. It's really hard to finish music three-way. It just is. And plus we're all in complete different time zones. I'm in California. Mike is on the East Coast. Forest is in Netherlands. So it's rare that we're all awake even at the same time. Even though we're all mutual respect on the solo tunes, and we do work well together as far as results. It's just finishing things got difficult along the way. But so I've got the infrastructure, or we have the infrastructure thing happening. I've always got collaborations with Mike Intake. That's just a daily thing. Always, and which I love. And yeah, I've got a remix for Good Shepherd coming out on default. I've got another thing with Good Shepherd that I'm going to hop on. K2T and I have something that he's waiting on me to finish. Producer named Datu, who's just killing it right now.
Yes.
Is wrapping
Datu
up.
is great.
He's wrapping up a collab between he and I.
Datu is on Twitch also, guys, and he's amazing.
And then as far as forthcoming music of mine, that's actually signed, I do have a track slated for the next Drum and Bass for Autism compilation.
Nice.
And the first one was great, and the second one got postponed. like indefinitely, but I did get some correspondence about it a week ago, so it's still happening. So that's going to be out when it's out. And then, like I said earlier, when I clear my plate of collabs, then I do want to start a new ambient project as well as some drum and bass.
So I have a secret for you about clearing your plate of collabs. And that secret is don't say yes to any more collabs.
Well, I figured out a part of it too, and that's to start the collab and send it to the other person so that they can finish it.
There you go. There you go. Very good.
I know I can't say no. So
the power of no is a big deal, but that's the thing. You say no to some things so you can say yes to others.
oh, nice! Happy birthday!
Oh,
meet me
nice.
somewhere.
God, I'm so mad my bot isn't working. My nice command isn't going. So I have a joke on my channel because when I started DJing, I was like, it's a one-off. I swore it was a one-off. I'm just only going to do it once. Twitch doesn't need any more drum and bass DJs. Well, a year later, still doing it. And I said just either I said it or Mr. Rayner said it that I have more one-offs than Paul Nice has birthdays. Oh God, good to see you, Paul. Shoot, what was I gonna say? Who cares? Oh yeah. So I was gonna say, like, I told you earlier that before the show started that like part of the reason I do this and love doing this, and even part of the reason I love DJing, is that is promoting other people, getting pushing the scene, pushing the music by pushing people. DJs can't do shit if nobody makes the music. Like now I lost it again. Where was I going with that? I don't know. Oh yeah, when good things happen for producers that I know, that I enjoy, that I care about, it feels amazing. It's as good as if it was happening to me. So I'm like loving life right now, seeing like Mike with this incredible EP. Good Shepherd's got all these releases coming out on Default. You've got these releases coming out. It's like that's the thing. People get weird and like jealous and bizarre about other people having what they perceive as success and they don't have that thing. But it's so short-sighted because if something good happens to one person in your circle, you're closer all of a sudden, right, to people that want to hear music, and you're making connections, and it's good for the scene, which is good for everybody. It's so stupid. I don't get it. Oh, RCA Trash, what DAW do you use to produce?
Ableton.
You've
I'm
never
on.
been here long, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm on Ableton 10 still, and I don't have the suite.
Me too.
I just have the standard. I
Yeah.
never saw enough reasons to do the upgrade for what I do. So
I have to figure out if I have to have a studio to use Max for Live. I
that
think you do.
is the suite. That's the big one,
For
right?
the suite, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
you
But
do.
here's
But
why I like it. I just discovered the other day. So I don't know a lot about like modulating a drone or things like that. And then somebody told me, or no, I watched this crazy. I found this guy, Good Shepherd introduced him to me. He's an Italian producer living in the UK, and I don't even know what kind of music he makes, but it's probably more like EDM based on what I've heard. But he does these reels almost every day with different tips. And he talked about taking an LFO from Max for Live, putting it on your track,
Mhm.
and tying some adjustable aspect of your VST or one of your effects or whatever to the LFO.
Yep.
It's incredible. It's so cool.
It is.
He
It's
was.
super cool.
It's
I yeah,
super cool.
I understand it in theory. I don't think I could do it in practice. It's a little too smart for me. Um,
No, I could show you. It takes like 2 seconds. If I can figure it out, you can. Like
yeah,
he
I
was.
got. I don't know if I'm interrupting you. Sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
went down. I went down the techno rabbit hole hard for a few years before I got into drum and bass again. So about 2 years, I got real into techno again. And the reason why is because like my Detroit roots, I love hard techno. I love Detroit techno.
Yeah.
Um, but and so that's kind of what got me back into DJing again. But yeah, that's something that I was reading up on when I was writing some techno, which I haven't shared with anyone because I think it sucks. But techno's so hard to write. I swear you would think like drum and bass would be more difficult. Good techno is so hard to write because it's so simple and everything has to sound perfect, or it sounds
Yes.
cheesy.
You
So
can't hide behind anything in techno because there's nothing there. Like
yeah, I
it.
love it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing. Oh my god, when it's good. Whew.
but yeah,
Um.
regarding the that live Max for
Mhm.
live and using the LFOs to control things, I know a
Mhm.
lot of the techno guys do that because it makes subtle, small changes in a sound over time if you wanted to. But
Right.
you
Right.
can. I mean, yeah, you can use that just to adjust the opening and closing of a hi hat or something, so that it's
Mhm.
just
Well, you can. There's like a.
monked.
You can connect it to like a sine wave or even to like a random. And he was talking about using it to take like a MIDI hi hat that is very like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's always the same. And he was taking it and using a vocoder to like tweak with like the velocity and some of the sounds and even like the placement, right? To make it have more movement and sound more natural,
Sure,
more interesting. And I was like, I don't do drums in MIDI, but I was like, what would it do to an ARP? I just want to play with this. And it's amazing. It like completely it ARPs are hard for me because like sometimes they sound really cheesy and so like I like them, but I'm working on like how can you do like a darker ARP or a moodier DARP or ARP or a DARP that doesn't sound like I went plink plonk
sure.
on a keyboard.
I don't use a lot. To be honest, I don't use a lot of arpeggios,
Mhm.
but yeah, Hive is a good synth to use if you are going to use them. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So a DARP.
a DARP,
No, a DARP. Then I have the guitarps in a ton of my tracks that are just like little picks, and I was teasing Good Shepherd. I was like, it's a guitarp.
I like
Um,
that.
but yeah, who knew the little things you could. That is actually something that's really fun about producing. I wonder if that's your experience. Is just experimenting, just going in and being like, I wonder what this would do.
I feel like I don't do that anymore, and I should. Yeah, I definitely did a lot of that, and then one thing after getting, I guess, my breakthrough release on Soul Deep, a quick follow up on Soul Flex, and then I've been mostly at home at Offworld since then. It's not that there's pressure. No one's like knocking on my door. When's the next track? When's the next track? But there's a level of it, and you know, Twitch eats all my free time. So instead of screwing around and making new sounds and stuff like that, it's more well, I think all producers do this, but it's easier to go back and steal from yourself than
I hear
than make
that a
something
lot.
new. So
A lot of
you know,
drums get recycled from what I'm hearing from people. But why the hell not? I mean, drums are like, I do not have the patience to like sequence my own drums. Why would I do that? There are so many great loops out there. Like, ooh, we should talk about that. We could really scandalize people. But before we do, is the pressure kind of Because I've thought about this, like, for one day 12 years from now, if I ever like have people really wanting my stuff, is the pressure, like, if I don't keep releasing, people are going to forget about me or they're going to stop asking. Is that part of it, or is it something else?
I don't know. Um, I really don't know. I mean, it's good to be on everyone's mind
Hmm.
often, and
Right.
if I had that much music, I would. I mean, so, some of the output on some of these guys is incredible. How just not just often, but quickly and
Mhm.
effortlessly, they come up with ideas. And I'm not like that.
Hmm.
Um, in fact, I don't ever have an idea. I'd say 99% of times, if I sit down, I don't have an idea to make a song. I just sit down and start slapping things together until it works or it doesn't.
Right.
I know a lot of people go in with an idea in their head or a melody, and that's cool. It's just not me.
Hmm.
I'm more of experiment, like, this, lay this down, lay that down on top, and if the track starts writing itself, then it's a good song.
I have gone in before and been like, I want to write something darker because I feel like I've written a lot of happy stuff or whatever, but things never go the way that I'm thinking of. But I kind of think that's a good thing. Like, sure, have an idea, but go where it goes, because
Yep.
you don't know, like, what's gonna happen, and you might miss out if you try to force this thing into the mold that you have, um, in your mind. But no, so the controversy is not just about drum loops. Samples. You and I have talked about this a lot, a whole lot. Um, so there's the argument. I actually just heard it again the other day. You know, there's a lot of people out there who think that if you're going to Splice and getting samples, you're cheating or you're not a real producer. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's stupid. Or everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I disagree with that. Um, Listen to anything before 1997,
Hmm.
and it's 90% samples.
That's how the music started.
Yeah, in fact, and I like that. I always thought it was interesting making music out of other people's music. I think it's
Yes.
cool. Um,
Yes.
uh, there's some people that like get down to the point where they're synthesizing hi-hats, and because they want like every single sound in their song to be them, and that's totally fine and cool, and I
Hmm.
respect it. But
Yes.
I'd rather grab one of the probably 30,000 hi-hat samples I have and move on with my life than
Right.
spend an hour shaping a click. So
Well, the craziest I get so far, but again, I don't know a lot of stuff yet, but like the craziest I'll get so far is I might take a break and chop it because I want it to match, like I want the kick snare pattern to match this other break that I have so I can loop it. So I'll do that. But like, or I like the snare in this, but I don't like some of the other, stuff, but I'll just make my own loop. But that's it, man. Like, um so I was thinking about this, and I responded to somebody's post about it, and I was like, my problem with the whole if you use samples you're not a real producer is that I feel like it actually looks down on both uh, people that love sound design and make loops and enjoy doing that, and on people that like to use them, because it says samples aren't shit. Anybody can put them together. That, I mean, that's what they're really saying, is like anybody can take samples and put them together and make music. That doesn't make you a real, it doesn't make you a real producer. Like like having a Splice subscription means I can just go in and bang out a tune in 30 minutes. But it also says sample, loops aren't shit. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I love the fact that people love sound design enough, or it's easy enough for them that it makes sense monetarily to do it. I love that they do that. I'm so glad that somebody loves that, because that saves me from having to do sound design, which I just am not interested in.
No,
Like,
I agree with you on that. I'm not a big sound design guy. I'll do some bass work, and even on that, it's relatively simple on most of my tracks. I'm not have wild screaming, farting bass lines most of the time. I love that sound. It's just not one of my strong suits, so I don't spend a lot of time doing it.
right.
Um, but no, samples are awesome. In fact, it's a great way to like, and we haven't talked about this yet, but you know, sometimes that's a good way to get over like a little bit of writer's block or something. You know, just go
Yeah.
buy a new sample pack and see if something in there inspires you, and then work off of it. You don't have to use the drums, the bass, the lead. You don't have to use everything from the same sample pack, because that's not going to sound. It's probably going to sound great, but it's not going to be you.
Right. It's not
You
going
know
to
what I
sound like
mean?
you. Yep.
It's going to sound like everyone else who used that sample packs exclusively. But
Yeah.
if you can find one thing in there that can get you get the track moving or something like that, then sure. I mean,
Oh man, I didn't update the command, but so tomorrow, so you're here tonight with me, which is so cool. But then tomorrow, y'all, is good fresher, good shepherd. Does a not every week, but fairly often. What he calls a Good Friday session, where he has a guest DJ come in and he DJs, and sometimes he has like a resident. And I'm gonna host, and you are the guest tomorrow. So I love
yay!
that we're getting to like promote this. Um, uh, while you're here, that just works out. That just works out so well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Good Shepherd. It's my apparently my third time on Good Fridays.
Nice.
I thought it was only one, but he's probably right. He's probably right.
He's had a lot of repeat. He's had a lot of repeat folks. Um, okay, now I've fixed the command. So guys, follow Good Shepherd and turn your notifications on. 5 p.m. CDT is when it's going to start. I'll be spinning first, then Matt, or then Matt, and then Good Shepherd's mix, or then Good Shepherd's mix and yours. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Korax has been on twice. Jason Inky has been on like 3 or 4 times. I don't know. But the default guys were on last week.
Yeah, it was
So
great.
yeah, like, so one of the things I've been talking to John about, Good Shepherd, is that he has really created like a special space with Good Friday sessions. Even if there's not a lot of people there, there's like a really dope vibe. There's like, it's like a group of people that really love the music and are really chill and just really like support other people and really want to see good things happen for other people. And it was interesting to me because he couldn't be there last Friday, so I guest hosted. And it was the same vibe even when he wasn't there.
Hmm.
And I start talking about that because, man, your streams are a vibe. Like, you, like this interesting space, this weird space where anybody can be weird, and like, you started that and you made that happen, and I don't think that's a small thing. Like,
Oh,
I
back.
think that's a big deal and it's cool.
Well, yeah, I think I've created a playhouse,
Yeah.
and I think to the point where if I get just a few more commands, I don't even have to show up. I can just start streaming.
Start streaming, hit play on a pre-recorded mix,
Oh no, it doesn't
and
even have to be a mix. I don't think. No, John's done an awesome thing on Fridays, and yeah, like it's relatively new. The viewers are. It's going to grow like everything else does. He's got great talent every week. I really
yeah.
appreciate being asked to do it, not just once, but several times. So yeah, tomorrow I'll do pretty much what I did yesterday. I'm going to feature mostly unreleased stuff. just
Yes,
because
please.
I can and it's fun. So
Will you play some of the infrastructure stuff, please?
that's the
Like,
problem. It's like almost all of it's like 3 minute tracks instead of five. You know,
I'll
it's like
take it.
not quite there, but yeah, I can put some of that on there for sure.
Yeah. Y'all need to come just for those tracks. They're so good and they're so interesting, and like you and Mike are a great combination. Like you two work together really well and obviously have done it a lot and keep doing it a lot and probably never going to stop. You guys are may end up like the two old men on the Muppets.
Right?
Um but Forrest just brings something else into it that just makes it that it elevates it, makes it that much more powerful.
Yeah,
Like
he
literally,
has no releases, and
that's unbelievable.
and he's way better than both me and Mike. And Mike and I are both similar in age, and Forrest is a lot younger than us. But yeah, we love Forrest, man. Tom's awesome. So yeah, and it will happen one day. It's sad that it hasn't
Yeah.
happened yet, but infrastructure is not going to disappear. It's
The
there.
timing usually ends up being right, even if things are delayed, it usually ends up being the right time. But
Well,
like
that's just
I want that stuff so bad. Like I want to know how to contact Tom so I can be like, dude,
we're
this is
putting
this is good. It's really good. Please don't deny the world this music. Like I need
yeah.
it. What do I have to do?
Well,
Like,
when we met him versus now, his life's changed a lot. He's finished college. He's working. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
has a little bit less time, but yeah, it's
right.
definitely going to happen. So
Yeah. Oh God, I remember that time of like trying to figure out how to suddenly balance your life when you have to show up someplace for 40 hours a week and they expect you there, and yeah. Proper Motion says he's lobbying for intake secret structures and Tasha Baxter. That could be cool.
sure, I'm done with that. I mean, Mike knows her pretty well. It sounds like I've chatted with her here and there, but I love her voice. I'd love to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, her
Well, in
Mike's
fact,
tune with her
not
is great.
not too secret, but we may have found a vocalist. So we're gonna try it
Ooh.
out. We're gonna try and
Actually,
see how that goes too.
I don't know who yours is, but actually I'm wondering if someone I'm thinking of might be a good fit for you guys.
Yeah, send it over.
And I'm have somewhat of a relationship with her, and she's getting some big releases, but she's still like up and coming, right? So she might still be affordable.
Turn around.
I'm actually not thinking of Flo Anastasia, but I do like her a lot.
I love her
Um,
voice.
oh God, it's great. It's great. I got her sample pack and I just can't figure out how to use it yet. And I'm like, damn, the race is on. Like, if I'm gonna make something with this, I need to do it like yesterday.
Oh, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So this is
Oh, you mean about like other people using vocals that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
the race is on. Yeah. Now we're going on one or two or three. I can think of three tracks that intake and or maybe just intake once had some really good tracks, really cool tunes with vocals that somebody beat us to the punch on, and that's disheartening. Is that a word?
Yeah, that's a word.
Then that,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
discouraging. But okay, so let's talk about that though. You mentioned that last Friday, I think, or last Thursday in my stream, and but you said that you and Mike, this one instance, that you and Mike weren't completely sold on the vocal anyway. To which I replied, "Well, then maybe just do it without the vocal. Like maybe it's a good thing that this happened, so you can really lean into the tune without trying to like fit that in." And like I shit where was I going with
Well,
that?
that's the
But
track that we actually did take the vocals out, and that's the one we're sending to our cross our fingers new vocalist maybe. So yeah,
awesome.
it's in her hands right now. We'll see what she does with it. But
Awesome.
it seems promising. I've heard
Yeah.
two I've heard two songs with her on it, and after a little bit of correspondence, apparently she's familiar with and likes drum and bass. So that's but the songs I heard were not drum and bass. So yeah, let's hope that maybe we forge a nice relationship there.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. I mean, I think that it's hard to be a vocalist, and it's hard to be it's even harder to be a lyricist. And so if you can vibe with somebody, like if you look at like Charlotte Haining and BC, they are an incredible combination together. Like my understanding is that a lot of the tracks that they do together, he will send her the music and maybe give her an idea of like a story that he wants to tell, and she comes up with it. And I have goosebumps just thinking about it because they just work it together so well. I did remember now what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that not every track, like, I think that especially producing Liquid, we think about vocals a lot. But not every track needs one. And I remember Good Shepherd played me a work in progress of Mahalo, right? Like right after he wrote it. And he was like, I think I want to get a vocal. And the tune literally made me cry. It was like so beautiful and had so much emotion in it, and it really resonated with me. And I was like, don't get a vocal. It's like not only do you not need one, I'm telling you don't get one, because I was like, this track is so emotional. If you put a vocal in here, you're going to restrict the emotion that people can feel from it. If
Yeah,
the
that makes
vocal's
sense.
about love, if the vocal's about loss or whatever, that's what people are going to feel, instead of leaving it wide open for them to feel and think of whatever they want, which I think means
Hmm.
you're going to catch more people's attention with it.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. And I'm pretty sure I know which track you're talking about.
yeah.
I think that's the one he made on vacation, or
Yes, right after he got
or
back.
coming back. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think I have that one, but I've heard it.
Oh my
Um,
God, Good Shepherd, you need to rectify that.
I don't think I have that one. Yeah, writing, using vocals is tough. It can be a crutch sometimes too. Like I can go back and look at almost all the songs I have released. I think all of them have a vocal sample in them. But not necessarily lyrics and singing.
Right.
I've got a massive sample collection that I've been
Hmm.
accumulating for like 20 years.
Right.
And included in that, I want to say I've got maybe like 8 gigs of acapellas going
Hmm.
back for 50 years worth of music. I mean, so I'm pretty good at finding some obscure stuff and,
Hmm.
stealing that.
Hmm.
Um, but, I mean, a lot of times it just adds a human element to have just a little, hey,
Yes.
yeah, type of shit in there,
Well, and something like that can almost become an instrument, right? Like if
mm,
depending on how you affect it,
mm.
like it can sound like a pad, or.
I've got a good anecdote, I guess, about that. I was playing some music for my dad a couple of years ago. Some drum and bass, and it had some female vocals in it. And he was like really enjoying the song, but he said, I can't understand what she's saying.
Hmm.
And he's a boomer. It was
Right.
hard to explain it to him that she's not saying anything. Well, she is, but I've cut it up and pasted it to where sonically I like the way it sounds, but there's no message to it.
Right.
And I was explaining to him using it as an instrument,
Hmm.
where it's it like and I've done that in a few tracks, not a whole bunch that have been released that I can think of, but where I'll grab vocals from a track and cut and paste the sounds that I like, where it's not necessarily saying anything, it's just vocal sounds. But
Right.
yeah, like you said, using vocals as more of an instrument than a message conveyor.
I think that's honestly, as far as I can see right now, the hardest part about getting vocal samples from somewhere is that, like, a pad, an ARP, you know, a piano, all of that stuff. There's a lot you can do to change that up. Like there's a lot you can do to say a simple piano loop to make it more, less, different, whatever than the sample. There's only so much you can do to vocals if you want to hear the words. You know, there's only so far you can pitch vocals before they don't really sound like, let's say, what you would expect in like a liquid vocal. And there's only so many effects you can put on it and still have it be intelligible. So yeah, that's a big challenge. I wish I could sing, like really sing, but I'm terrified that if I even could make something passable, that I just would not like the track because it would have me on it. It would feel like, I'm no Tasha Baxter, so it would feel very like self-indulgent.
You know what, though? I mean, if you've got the confidence and you do it well, it's awesome. I mean,
What's confidence? I don't know her.
Dan Guyton sings on his tracks.
Yeah.
See This Guy. Actually, I don't know if he's released any, but I've heard some of his music where he sang on it, and it sounds great.
Yeah, Winslow does it too.
I didn't know that. I used to sing for a band, but I wouldn't do it now.
Yeah. Good Shepherd mentions reversing the sample. I love a reversed vocal. It can be so good. Yeah. Oh my God, we got 12 minutes left.
Uh-oh.
Dude, I love this. Okay, so I'm gonna try and remember the command. So first of all, if anybody's here and isn't following Secret Structures, you need to do it right now. I want you to hear him DJ, so you need to follow Good Shepherd so you can hear him DJ tomorrow. I don't think you're gonna stream tonight, so that might be your first be your first chance. And I need your SoundCloud, but I can't remember the command.
It's a SoundCloud / Secret Structures. It's not hard to find.
Okay. But what else should we be promoting right now? Like, okay, so you have the release coming on Default, right?
I've got a track coming out on there, yeah. Otherwise, I don't have a whole lot to promote right now. Like I said, I've got just a lot of unfinished things that will eventually be out there, but no real dates or times. I mean, there's also the Off-World compilation, I think, is out next month. I've got a solo track on there and then a collaboration with Shibumi from LA. That's a pretty nice track too.
You introduced me to Shibumi. What a cool bunch of tunes.
Yeah, like, talented dude.
Yeah. Okay, so I just put his SoundCloud in the chat. You guys should follow that too. Yes, he doesn't have any social media. Twitch is it.
Mm-hmm.
The man's not on Instagram. I would never suggest anybody go on Twitter because I hate it. But yeah, he's just doing his thing. He's just totally doing his thing. Clever Gal, thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, does anybody else have any questions before I think of some? Oh, yeah, here's a question I want to ask you. Who are some of your, like, I'm not going to say favorite, but who are some producers that inspire you? Or make you say, wow, I wish I could make music like that, or wow, that music's really impressive?
Okay. Starting off, like, in the past would be LTJ and the whole Good Looking crew, all of that. That was a massive inspiration for me. But also, Life Changer was Ed Rush and Optical Wormhole album. I mean, it's the perfect drum and bass album. Fight me. So
wow.
it's the pinnacle of drum and bass. I think it's been downhill since the Wormhole EP or LP.
Wow, that is a bold
I really
statement.
think they perfected drum and bass with that album. But anyway,
Wow.
yeah,
I'm going to have to go back and listen to it. It's been a long time since I listened to that album.
since then, I mean, Caliber's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And in fact, he never let what was happening outside of his music affect what he did. He did his thing, and it's
Also,
always been awesome.
The man has never been remixed.
I didn't know
Never.
that.
Yep.
I never knew that. Oh shit.
He's a massive remixer, right? But
Mhm.
he has never been remixed.
That's a good trivia question for Pepper Snacks and YT. Are they still going? Maybe for next week.
Here's the other thing about Caliber. Talk about like simple. Like his tracks are so simple. Like he is a master at every single element doing the most.
Yeah,
for
someone
the
compared
track.
one of my tracks to his the other day, and I said no thanks. I mean, nice try, but I got a long way to go. As far as influences now, I really like the stuff that I'm trying to think of some of the names. It's not necessarily the music that I make. It doesn't sound like that. But I very much like this music that like some of the Alex Perez stuff. Some of
I can see that.
the Galaxy or GLXY.
Yep.
I really like some of the Ivy Lab stuff. Trying to think of some of the other ones. I can think of the titles. Visages or whatever. That nice modern deep sound where it's dark, but it's still kind of liquidy, and it's not harsh, but it's still kind of scary in a weird way and cool. Really like
real moody and
a lot of stuff like Tided D&B.
Yes.
He plays a lot of that, and I love it. So does Helma Hoff.
Yeah. So I will just say right now, while we're talking about favorites, going on record at this moment on this day, from the moment I heard it, album of 2022, best album of 2022, Set and Setting by Workforce. I defy anyone to do a better album this year. I'm not talking EP, I'm talking full album. Like this album goes all the way back to the day when an album was meant to be listened to in its entirety and told a story through the whole album. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I don't think I've heard it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I'm not sure if I've heard it.
That really excites me. External Subway did, which I'd never even heard of him before. He did an LP called Movements this year that's incredible. Leo Wood does a beautiful track on it. Gemma Rose, who's amazing, she's new, up and coming. She did one on it, and then what was the other one that I was thinking of? There's just a lot of good music coming. Oh yeah, Echomatics. I really love Echomatics stuff. Like that is the sound that I would really like to make. Like this, it's liquid, but it's real like moody and does have like a dark feel to it. He's really leaning into that, and I'm like, he sends me whips, and I'm like, more, make more of this. You're onto something with this. Like you're doing something amazing with this. But there's my influences for now.
And then the people that I work with.
Yeah.
I mean, intake is every day, almost every day. I hear something new from him, and it just like I wanna hop on it and work on it. It's just so good. Huge influence. In fact, I mentioned something like this in the past to where, say like 20 years ago or so, and I wasn't there for this, but I caught it secondhand being in the United States, that like in the UK, the different cities had their own scenes and crews, which developed their own sounds.
Yes.
For instance, the Bristol guys and the whatever, right?
And
I'm almost seeing like a almost like a resurgence of that on Twitch, to where like Mr. Burnt Yogurt and his crew, because he's got great producers hanging out in his stream all the time, to where it's like that he's almost cultivating a certain sound, like myself, Intake, Echo Motion, Echo Maddox, Joshua. A lot of the people that are always dropping tracks there. It's totally cool. It's like,
and the Think Breaks crew, and like I'm so glad that I somehow got hooked up with Think Breaks and John, because that led me to Mr. Burnt Yogurt, which led me to a whole other group of producers.
Exactly. K2T, Colossus, Datu. It's just, it's very cool.
But you're right. Like, this is our same proximity. Like, this is us being in the same proximity and being influenced by each other, which does kind of make a sound.
Mm-hmm. And then take it like escape velocity, and like thank you to them for even playing some of my tracks during their sets here and there. I know it doesn't always fit in, but they've got their sound, which is a lot more maybe amen oriented and stuff like that, and that like attracts like, and so they'll get dubs from people that are more
Good
focused
Shepherd
on a certain sound.
They've played a lot of Good Shepherd dubs. Good Shepherd does a lot of good jungle stuff. It's just incredible. And then, like, this is amazing. You have people now that you can take lessons from. So, like, you don't have to be by yourself, even if you're by yourself. So, like, and that's a really interesting way that, like, influences come down. Because, like, the guy I'm taking lessons from took lessons from Willem. And so, in a way, I'm getting lessons from Willem because those are the things that he took on. And so that's really, like, that's a really cool thing too, because basically I'm just paying someone for their time to do what someone in my city would have done if I was their friend and they didn't want to gatekeep me back in the day. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
It's really cool. Oh my god, it's 8:58. Holy crap. So, are you going to stream? You want me to hang out with them while you get a stream going, or are you going to rest your back?
Yeah, I don't have it in me, especially since I'm up tomorrow and I played yesterday. So, no stream tonight.
Okay. But... All right. So, I'm going to look, and actually, if you have Twitch up, I'll let you pick the raid. We'll go anywhere you want.
Looks like Curly's on.
Curly
raid yourself.
Juice is on, and who else? Juice. My friend Yugomi is on, and he's doing 80s tonight. Spire's on. Ghost Runner. That's about all I got right now. But so tomorrow, Matt and I are streaming on Good Friday sessions. Next Thursdays for a while, I'll just be DJing. And then on the 22nd of September, Jason Inky is going to be my guest for my next stream. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah. I'm really excited about that because, like, I even, like, just hanging out with him in Good Shepherd's chat, like, I love his vibe. The guy's been around forever. He is so passionate about music and about the scene and is so positive. So I can't wait to talk to him. But okay, chat, do you want to go and hear some 80s music, or do you want to go and see what Juice is doing? So yeah, let me
Diana Fire says word game. I might do a word game stream, but it's late. That's a low effort on my part. I don't know if you guys haven't seen it. It's just I host a word game sometimes and like to play jazz because it's just that way I don't have to be involved. I love jazz music, and so I might do a word game later. But
yeah. Thank you so much to everybody that has been here hanging with us. First of all, Matt, thank you for this, because I say it all the time, but the older I get, the more I realize that time is the most valuable resource we have. You can't earn any more. you can't earn any more. You can't save any you don't use today, and you never get it back. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
giving me your time. This was really fun, and I love you, and I think you're amazing, and I'm so grateful that I met you.
Oh,
Um,
likewise.
so
Likewise. No, you're the best, and I appreciate you having me on.
yeah,
It went quick, but it was real easy. You know what I'm saying? There was
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
anything difficult about it. I want to thank everybody in the chat. There's way too many people to thank. I love all these people except for one,
I
of course.
know,
But
except for one.
yeah, always one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So check us out tomorrow. We'll be doing our drum and
Yeah.
bass thing. Thank you so much.
Our Gary Tiger, grateful that she met him. Um,
Oh, good.
God.
I just
But
lost the
yeah,
game.
if you guys like any music I've done, part of it you can thank Secret Structures for. So, okay, so I'm gonna rate us into Yagomi.
Cool.
So yeah, turntablist. He's playing 80s tonight. Um, it's gonna be a good time, but don't make requests. He doesn't take them, and he doesn't enjoy when you ask them. The last time I ran it into him immediately after, not someone who came with us, but someone did a request, and it was like, oh, okay, that's bad.
All right.
That's real bad.
So you know what that means. Everyone here request Weird Al My Bologna as soon as we get there.
Don't do it. You're gonna make me look bad. You're gonna make me look so bad. Ugh.
And by the way, just real quick before it's over,
Yeah.
I asked Curly if I could wear fake
Oh,
vampire
God.
teeth.
Now you have time.
I asked her if it would be okay if I wore fake vampire teeth the whole time during the interview, but never address it. And if anyone in chat asked about it, just ignore it. But she said no. So
I did say no because I wouldn't be able to ignore it. Like I would be totally distracted.
like not even the good ones, like the fake cheap ones that the kids wear, you know, the chompers. I
Yes.
figured my kids probably have a pair in the room. I was going to find them and wear fake vampire teeth the whole time, but I behaved.
Amazing.
Aren't you proud of me? I behaved.
You did. You did. This was great. This was awesome. Okay, we're about to raid. Love you guys. Thanks for being here.
Bye bye.